Well, hello. I hope you're doing well today. This is just the preview for our Sunday school lesson on Joseph. We'll be talking from Genesis chapter 39. This is the story of when Joseph is tempted to lie with Potiphar's wife, and Joseph refuses. So she continues to pursue him, and he eventually leaves his cloak in her hands and takes off and runs and gets out of there. And so, while there's a lot of powerful things we can talk about from the story itself, there's a few application questions I just kind of want to go over so that we can be prepared to have a good discussion with our small groups tomorrow. The first question I think we want to talk about is really about his work ethic, which we're told about at the beginning of the chapter. If he had any excuse or any reason why he wouldn't want to be a good worker, it would be that he was sold into slavery, that he was in a foreign land where he didn't really know anybody, probably didn't even speak the same language, where he was put in a situation of just serving a person around their house. And he worked hard. The Bible tells us that he was diligent in his work, and as a result, he was quickly exalted to become the head of the entire household, to take care of everything. And he had dominion over all of the fields and all of the workings of that household, and he did that well. So we want to kind of just have a chance to discuss work ethic and what that means, even in the midst of doing things or being in situations we don't like maybe that's chemistry class, or maybe that's algebra, or maybe that's at home, or maybe that's at your job. How do you work in a way that honors God, like Joseph did? And what is the result of that a lot of times? The second thing that we want to talk about is just the way that Joseph um, refused the temptation that was coming towards him and continuously said no. And I'm sure it wasn't easy. We have every reason to believe Potiphar's wife was probably extremely attractive and desirable. However, Joseph, for some reason, was able to say no. And we know that's because of his character. We know that's because in the midst of tough times and in temptations, we are able to overcome. And so we just want to talk about how do we overcome temptation that is hard and that is unrelenting and that continues to come after you, and how do we know that we can win? And 1 Corinthians 10:13 tells us that no temptation has come upon us, but such that we're able to handle, because God is with us and He's faithful and He will help us. And so we want to talk about that in that question. And then the last question is this: when just refusing the sin wasn't enough, Joseph had an exit plan, which was to leave his cloak there and to run as far away as possible. And so I think it'd be good for us to talk about what are some of the areas where in our life we need to learn how to run away instead of trying to stay there and continue to fight the battle. Sometimes the easiest and our best option is to get out of there. And so we want to go through just some different situations. I mean, what about when people start gossiping? Or what about when people start um, bullying others or whatever? How do you get out of there? Run away. Get away from there. There's a young man that I've spent a lot of time working with who we just have the out phrase when he's struggling, when it's a hard thing. He can drop a line and say, I have a Bible study with my youth pastor I need to go to. Then he immediately leaves and calls me, and we are able to establish a Bible study time and get a Bible study set up and to work through that. And so learning how to run away from temptation when it is hard, when it's closing in on you, is an important thing to learn. So I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow.